Welcome one and all to a wide open sky at Bridgeview, Illinois. Match week 19 at MLS Next Pro, and the sharpening of focus on the playoff push arrives with ever-increasing intensity. SeatGeek Stadium ready and waiting as an Eastern Conference offering lights up the marquee. It's Red Bull New York 2 on the road to see Chicago Fire 2. Howdy, folks. Peyton Galler here. Excited to bring you all the flair and fanaticism of a game that has huge stakes in the Eastern Conference playoff picture between two teams that have become accustomed to getting in each other's way down the last couple of seasons. Mike Matkovich brings his Chicago Fire 2 team into this game off a long away stay. 3 consecutive road fixtures saw Chicago Fire 2 go without a single blemish over the course of those contests. And this will be the chosen lineup for the home side and Mike Matkovich, and notably, it is a pair of heavy hitters leading the line today. Jason Shukaluk, last year's Golden Boot winner, back into the squad today, as well as David Pareba, the one who won the award the year before that. So, with all that being said, there should be fireworks on the attacking end as Chicago Fire 2 are not pulling any punches. Also notable, Omar Gonzalez, the player coach, in the starting 11 today, as he will make up half of the back line. Partnership with Christopher Cups. It is once more Jason Nemo Jr. in goal today for the home side. As for the opposition and Dominic Waller, the reigning champions of MLS Next Pro, Red Bull New York 2, this will be the squad for the road team today, and not a lot of changes from that harrowing 2-2 draw against FC Cincinnati 2, in which Red Bull were quite widely better for most of that game, but ended up stomaching a tough loss in the penalty shootout. Look to the likes of Christian Gallagher to maybe make a big impact in the middle of the line. As always, it is Jankar who is such an important piece of the attacking outlook. No matter where he is, he can play in the wing, he can play at fullback, and he will have influence on the game from wherever he is operating. Out to the live pictures now. Excited for a tie that is tantalizing, to say the least. Chicago Fire 2 have so rarely been beaten in this venue down the years, specifically this season, only the one loss. Red Bull New York have the lofty standards of a team that is trying to make it back-to-back this year and has all the firepower that they would need to make that a reality. And so it goes. We set to set sail in this game. And it is up and running. Red Bull 2, Chicago Fire 2. Road-sided Red Bulls trying to shake back after that penalty shootout defeat at the hands of FC Cincinnati 2 a week ago. Chicago Fire 2 trying to continue what has now become an extended, unbeaten run. 4 in a row for the home side, in which they have at least picked up a point in the game. That being said, losses in the shootout, and each of the last 2 away to Chattanooga FC and Huntsville City. And it does appear to be true to form, as lining up at right wing will be Dennis Jankar. Left back will be Sean Batinger. Batinger scored in that last game against FC Cincinnati 2. On that occasion, though, he was at right wing and Jankar was at left back. So 2 players operating in as far-flung portions of the field as is actually possible compared to the most recent outing. Red Bull will go quick. Devin Cadigan. And Morris Sanchez. All the way back to Tobias Shevsik. clamped down upon. It was Shukaluk who was constricting the space. Chicago Fire 2 appeared to be more than content to set up in a rigid mid-block structure. That's a bad touch by Shasek, who put the ball in harm's reach. It's Fire fizzing forward. Pareba rolled in and stepped home. It is a fashionable and flashy start for Chicago Fire 2 at home. Final touch applied by the man who gets the goals. It's Jason Shukaluk. He scored them for fun a year ago. And he has gotten Fire exactly where they want to be from the outset here today. Golden boot to golden boot. Pareba, Shukaluk up. And it is a long road to climb for Red Bull on the road. The conditions will be exhaustive today. Temperatures pushing up towards 90 degrees. And to step in a venue like this that has been so hostile to opposition, go down so early, it will be a test of the resolve without doubt. Shevsik had that bit of gaffe of a moment last game against FC Cincinnati 2. We fell down and saw a heavy hit back pass go right by him into his own net to make it 2-2. That time more of a self-inflicted wound as he dives with danger at a poor touch. And by the time that Red Bull were back behind the ball, it was well too late. You very rarely see Red Bull make an error like that, let alone in consecutive weeks. Shukaluk now has scored in his only 2 MLS Next Pro appearances of the year. Played back towards Nemo. This is that patented Red Bull press, gnashing their teeth. Bait and jerk, skying high, and that will draw the attention of the center official. Playing for keeps at the far touchline, and it is pocketed by Fire 2. That early concession has almost engaged the engine more thoroughly for Red Bull in their pressing efforts as you see them really corralling towards the ball. It is the sign of a well-laid identity for a program that when things get adverse, it almost becomes more apparent what a team is trying to do. A heavier degree of commitment. Center official today is Salvador Flores, joined by Eric Del Rosario Gandara and Ricardo Ocampo running the line. Shane Richards is the 4th official. It looks like Flores will have to involve himself again, having a stern word with, looks like, Pareba. Well, that actually the goal scorer, Shukaluk. Shukaluk notably had those 2 goals last year in the playoff tie between these 2 teams in the Eastern Conference semifinal. 5-3 result for Red Bull. If that is any degree of foreshadowing for the game that is to come, it should be a very exciting 90 minutes. It's already gotten off to a good start. Red Bull taking that in extra time. Scoreline flatter than maybe a little bit, with Mahir Jimenez scoring in stoppage time. That last period of extra time to extend the advantage to 2. One of the best games we've ever seen in a playoff context in MLS Next Pro. just have to wonder to yourself, maybe Shukaluk wanted to get some revenge in his performance today. Nodded offline. Looked like by Cups. Justin, speaking about that playoff fixture from a year ago, not a single player in the Red Bull 11 that started that day. And there are alarm bells ringing. A stumble in the area, and it all comes undone. A little bit casual defensively by Red Bull, and they were almost played through. A hard pressing action by Nelic. Couldn't get home. Had that hat trick 2 games ago. It's Philadelphia Union 2. Really quiet performance in his last outing against the Ohio side. It is an interesting styles make fights type of game. Red Bull will want to tilt the field, have the action occur in the attacking half. Try and have that press be the best creative engine a team can ask for. It does look like Chicago are more than content to play a little bit of a slower pace. Gallagher winging wide, bringing in Batinger. Those were the 2 goal scorers last game. Cadigan couldn't find a way to thread it through. A winding road of a dribble. This is some run. And snatched up as Damian Villanueva had taken on all comers and come out victorious. If you're just now joining us, it was an early flinch on a back pass from Tobias Shevchik. Bad touch allowed Chicago Fire 2 to get in, although they didn't score immediately. We're able to find the back of the net by way of Jason Shukaluk, assisted by David Pareba. And this will be a goal kick. 70% of the possession in this first 10 minutes has come at the feet of Red Bull New York 2. So yet to generate an actual shot with it, though. Throwing to come. Chicago are pressing a little bit higher with their line of engagement here, and it comes good. They win the ball. There's Dylan Borso who left it behind, and there might be space to explore on the far flank. Jangar making a run. Flashed ahead. Benny Rodriguez now. And he is prodded from the ball. Shukaluk. Chopping challenge, leaves him in the dirt. The referee just points to his temple and tells the defender to maybe be a little bit more thoughtful about where he leaves his leg. Gotta imagine that might be a last warning. I believe that was Eric Londano. And this is Shukaluk. Reinforcements arriving for Fire 2. It would be a dreamland start if they can cash in and get a second. Omar Gonzalez. Got a player coach in this group for Chicago Fire 2. 37-year-old defender from Dallas, Texas. Well, has some defending to do over the top. Dennis Nelic couldn't get his leg around it. Was shaping for the shot. This portion of the match is brought to you by Carvana. And it's a goal kick for the home side. We'll grab the steering wheel almost instantly. Officially tallied as a third-minute goal for Jason Shukaluk, who wasted no time extending the advantage for his team. And then Mike Grohl, it's Shukaluk again. He's got men in the middle. Bending in, drawing back his bow. It's Shukaluk! It's two! And it's him again! Jason Shukaluk has them shook. The one-man army as he breezed away down the near touch line. And when he was finally closed upon, bet on himself to be the bigger man. He was. And the nearly quarter hour played in this game, Chicago Fire 2 are absolutely thrashing Red Bull.
Chicago Fire 2 goals scored by number 20, Jason Shukaluk. The goal was scored in the 13th minute of play and assisted by number 38.
A microwavable brace from Jason Shukaluk, but there is plenty of game to be played. Sekou Kone trying to get it right back. Dashed away at the end line. Shukaluk rising to knock it down. Villanueva puts it skyward. This does break up some of the rhythm of what Red Bull like to do in terms of the against the ball approach, but what's really grown this year, Dominic Waller in charge, is the possessional aspect of this team. Holding a league-high 58% of the ball. They will be comfortable chasing the game. Jangar nodding it back. Christian Gallagher was in pursuit. Nelic hounding it back to Cups. This is a dangerous game. Fire, in fact, playing with fire, trying to build out of the back. Omar Gonzalez. Just no space, and it might be a costly giveaway. Baitinger in the middle. Cues up a shot from range, and ultimately it's harmless. It was almost as if Baitinger was waiting for a reason not to shoot, or ultimately making the choice to call his own number. There was a clear enough eye line for the goalkeeper to see it all the way through. Pineda, Gonzalez, and Pineda again. It somehow stayed on off the ricochet. Christian Gallagher was a step late. Shukaluk, he's got space to play into, accesses it. It's Borsell. It is wide open right now. End to end, and both teams on full parade, putting their stuff on display. Seeing each style shine through. Been a good one between two high-quality teams. Juan Mina has left it behind him, and the alarm bells are ringing again. A cavalcade of Fire 2 players on the front foot. Into the middle, and this time Tobias Shevchik. Be grateful to see it land in his lap. Trip Fleming was the late arriving runner. It almost looked like he got caught in two minds as to whether or not he would fancy the shot at glory or try and send through Shukaluk for his hat trick. That's a well-weighted ball, and the blinding speed of Dennis Nelic on display. Just enough of a tackle put in to put him off. One of the fastest players in the division, Dennis Nelic. Couldn't make it stick there. Have been back-to-back games in which Red Bull 2 won 5-0 heading into last weekend, but now, if you exclude those games, they have conceded multiple goals in for the last 6 total. And as I said, again, without those 2 matches in which they throttled Philadelphia Union 2, Toronto FC 2, it's 4 consecutive games that they've conceded multiple goals. Good news is, with the shoe on the other foot, they've at least scored 2 or more in each of their last 3. So far from out of this. They do need to show a little backbone. And they definitely need to be the one to score the next goal. Christopher Cups. Sly interplay, chop back in! Oh, that is some stop. Tobias Shevsik keeps his team clinging to the ledge with a right-handed save. Not sure who applied that final hit, if it was Trip Fleming or David Pareba. Nonetheless, Red Bull 2 are fortunate not to be trailing by a triplicate of goals, considering how much space was afforded at the top of the area. Routines off the set piece. Fire 2 are proficient in this area. Thoughts of a shot. Now Borso twisting back to the far touchline. There's running room. Driving in on the right foot, it's blocked. It looks like by a Fire 2 player. Poached straight out of the air by Pineda. They're finding all the gaps and poking in all the uncomfortable places right now, Fire 2. Advantage being played. A drive from distance, another save by Shevsik. It took a skip right in front of him after he had already committed to the dive. Good reaction to keep it out. So tough to deal with these low line drivers that take multiple hops like that at pace. Very difficult piece of goalkeeping made to look easy. It's a 5-alarm Chicago Fire 2 barrage right now on the Red Bull goal. In swinging corner, gets all the way through and somehow trickles wide. Anytime the ball enters that 6-yard box at waist height like that, it is high anxiety for everybody defending the goal. And off that deflection, it's another punch dodge by Red Bull 2. And it's given right away. Their heads are spinning right now, the New York club. Just need to put their foot on the ball and maybe reverse some of the polarity of where momentum is heading. A clashing tackle and legally obtained by Chicago Fire 2. Unable to connect the dots, and Juan Mina will pick up the pieces. Jengar. If anything, this will just reverse where the game is being played for a moment. Allow Red Bull to step forward and apply the pressure. Smartly dispatched into the vacated space. Shevsik will chase it down. If he can avoid touching this, he will, and it's a goal kick. This portion of the match is brought to you by Wintrust. I think the flag may have been up for offside. Not quite certain what's caused the stoppage here. Appears to be an injury. Believed to Oscar Pineda. Things are ready to resume though. Skying header. Chicago Fire 2 unable to lay full custody. Fire 2 have had plenty of suitors in terms of who will step up and capture a moment for them. 14 individual players have scored a goal this year. Might there be another right now? Nelic left behind Jangar. Will be scuttled away in the corner by Damian Neek. Kone had the right idea. It was always going to be a narrow window for him to play the pass into, though. And Fire 2 again, thumping on their drum on the counterattack. They've been lethal here. 2 quick action goals. Moves that started in the defensive half and ended with a loud bang in the attacking one. Shevsik had read the flight of the ball off the deflection, and that's a good thing too. Had he not, it would have been a real threat. Being told we are going to get a hydration break here, somewhere in the neighborhood of the half-hour mark. Bainger. Back to Nemo. Leaves it on the floor. Not sure if that was what he planned to do. Nonetheless, it's brilliantly worked out. Funneled forward. Shukaluk's got the wheels, but it was a stellar tackle by Eric Lundano. That would deny him from the space he was seeking. Receiving is Bainger. Cops. Christian Gallagher arriving and forced to lead the press. Again, Fire 2 find it somewhat easy to get out of it. If it's typically a straitjacket that Red Bull 2 put on their opponents, Chicago Fire 2 might as well be Harry Houdini today. A splash of skill with the roulette from Bainger. I do want to correct myself from an earlier assessment that there was only, rather I should say no players for Red Bull 2 in the starting 11 that were in that playoff tie against Fire 2 last year. There is one. It is Juan Mina, who is helping to orchestrate this move. Jangar will loop in and put a head to it. Off the chest of Bainger. This is much more like it by Red Bull 2. First time setting up shop and camping in the final third in a while. Mina, Jangar. Benny Rodriguez. Dennis, or rather I should say Devin Cadigan. Eric Lundano. Gliding one at too narrow a placement. And it's pounced upon by Damian Neek, who looks up and sees Pareba lurking off the chest of Lundano. Amor Sanchez. Kone flipped ahead for Gallagher, and the final ball was again elusive there. Had Nelic running in, had that been played with the final weight and precision, it could have been 2-1. we make our way to the hydration break. As it stands, 2 early goals from Jason Shukaluk separate the sides. It's Chicago Fire 2, looking to extend that unbeaten run and making a big statement here at home today so far. Both these teams pressing for those important playoff spots, specifically toward the upper reaches of the table. Red Bull 2, the reigning champs, finding themselves up against it with plenty of time to react, but reaction required nonetheless. Now, they'll tell themselves, lesson learned last week. They were the much better side throughout the entirety of the first half against FC Cincinnati 2. A couple breaks fall their way in the second half in terms of their opponent. And it's 2-2 at the end of regulation, and Red Bull 2 come away getting less from that game than the opposition on the day. Don't think that they'll need the requisite luck that we saw from FC Cincinnati 2 in that contest to make something happen with the quality in and around this team. The other side, for Mike Makovich, he has to be thrilled with how things have manifested so far in this game for his bunch. This is what you get when you put in 2 of the best players in the goal-scoring department the league has ever seen. Jason Shukaluk with the brace, David Pareba setting up the first. Also crediting Cooper Cups with an assist on the second goal. Both Pareba and Shukaluk have been maybe on the outside of the picture at senior level this year. A couple appearances in the Open Cup for Pareba, but nothing the MLS degree so far this season. Shukaluk, at this point in the year, had that big game in the U.S. Open Cup, putting 2 past Detroit City FC in a 2-1 win. Other than that, very few opportunities in the MLS squad. Been on the bench a handful of times this year, a couple of short cameo runouts. But all told, only 45 minutes across 8 appearances at senior level for him. He will be very happy with how things have come to bear so far, and it looks like Dominic Wohlert might pull the trigger on a substitution here. Not sure if this is fitness related or tactical or an injury. It does look like the day is done. At the back for Juan Mina, as Eimer Modelo will come on. He's the one who scored the own goal last game against FC Cincinnati 2. Wasn't really his fault. Can't say it's a commonality to have an own goal be scored from half field like that. Just got pressed on, hit a back pass really hard, and Shevsik was not on the toes of his feet, ready to react in time. Nonetheless, we are back in play. This portion of the match is brought to you by Hyundai. Engine engaged so far for Chicago Fire 2. A pair of goals inside the first quarter hour. And them feeling quite good. You score a pair like that this early in the game against a team this good in Red Bull 2. You are almost compelled to quickly get the third and take the tension out of the tie. You do run the risk of kicking a hornet's nest, and that free kick was taken well too fast. Once more, it's the most obvious thing in the world, but it's so inherently true. The team that scores the next goal really controls exactly where the momentum and course of the tie will head. It is Fire 2. They reach out and grab it. Not going to say that's done and dusted, but 3-0 is an awfully hard deficit to reverse. The other side of things, if Red Bull 2 get one, you start to make Chicago Fire 2 feel awfully tense about the prospect of forfeiting a lead of the size of 2-0. Cups, Nemo. Starting to lay a pretty firm claim to this #1 goalkeeping spot. Jason Nemo. It's given away. There's no offside on the throw. Keen to that fact was Nelic. Christian Gallagher couldn't offer the size in his frame to really cause much issue there. Good recovery there by Fire 2, specifically by Christopher Cups. First touches for Aymar Modelo. Devin Cadigan. Eric Londano. Banger. It's been a good battle so far between Dylan Borso and Dennis Nelic. Borso, a tried and true veteran at this level. Now in his 3rd successive season with Fire 2. Taken out of the air. What a touch that was. Nonetheless, it is over the line eventually. Jumping in the passing lane is Baitinger. Spotted Nelic in the half space, but never could get it there. Regathered by Kone, and Baitinger once more. He has had so much of the play at his feet. So much positional flexibility in this Red Bull 2 roster. Baitinger starting last game at right wing, today at left back. Jangar arriving on the scene. Good piece of pressure again by Red Bull. There is a harvest to yield from it. They've got the ball back. Kone. Cadigan. Put the ball to sleep with the first touch to keep it alive for Rodriguez, who now rolls it wide. Jangar. Modelo running in front of him. Jangar in field, couldn't get it right. Picked off by Damian Neek and away by Nemo. Doesn't seem that coming out of the cooling break there's been any significant strategic change by either team, even with the addition of Aymar Modelo. That was a lovely idea to go for the Trivela. Penny Rodriguez unable to make it take. Gets it back and gets going. Rodriguez was off balance the whole way, but his shot was blocked and it's out for a corner. Penny Rodriguez is ailing significantly. He took a bang. Back to his feet. Red Bull 2 at odds with an opponent that has given them very little so far in the game. And swinging corner to Cup. Wants the choreography. To the back post, looking for the knockback. Nemo's gonna have to come correct, and he does. Not sure what the plan was there. Oh, it's worked out. He got a yellow card. Nemo almost ran straight into the back of a retreating player. Claimed that had delayed the restart, and a caution will be doled out. Not quite sure who to. So look at this, it's almost like he ran straight in to Eric Londano. Londano did break his stride a little bit, but nothing so egregious. That is heads up by Nemo. just a keen understanding of what the rules are and how to utilize him to achieve some advantage for his team. And that is the rest of the game that Eric Londano will have to think about exactly where his body is on every tackle, knowing that if he gets a foot wrong, he's heading to the shower early. Sloping over the top. Gallagher has had such little access to the game so far in the 9. It's loose, and coming through the chaos was Amar Sanchez. Needed to keep his cool, and he did. And it might open something up. Dennis Nelic at the controls. Slaloms away from the first tackle of Borso, and his back post ball arrives without any recipient. Some of those runs from Christian Gallagher have just been on the wrong kind of timing. He's been active, he's been getting into the right areas, but maybe doing so at a pace that doesn't match what's being provided by his teammates to him. Latched onto by Amar Sanchez, and it's back with Red Bull. Nelic, ever-growing influence on this near touchline. Now they've got the groove. Good interplay by Red Bull 2. Even better tackle. The league's best defenders intervenes again, Christopher Copps. Copps effortlessly just glides away from the first tackle of Nelic, but has put himself in a bind now. Got to clear. Just enough of a window to dispatch away from goal. Lands on the foot of Batinger, who takes this opportunity to step infield. Now Cadigan scooped up into the channel off the back heel of Christian Gallagher. Would have been a blinding goal had he been able to take it down, but defender who's seen a thing or two in his day, Omar Gonzalez, had already been well studied to the party trick that was being attempted to be pulled off. Still a lovely touch off the back heel of Christian Gallagher. Batinger sees the avenue towards the end line. Not enough room for the cross. Cadigan. Amar Sanchez, and now Aymar Modelo. Sees a bending run from Kone in for Gallagher, who got his toe to it, nothing more. Maybe left some paint from his boot on the ball. Nemo. And now flying forward again in force. Our fire too. Pareba. He's had to feed on scraps somewhat in the game. Rebel 2 have been living in the attacking half since the hydration break. Gallagher is brought down and clutching at his ankle. Yellow card for stopping a promising attack for Oscar Pineda. You just see how much better Red Bull look when they're involving their striker. Christian Gallagher finally starting to find the pulse of the game. A handful of bookings in this first half now. You get a chance to look back at it. Not much question there. Again, stopping a promising attack. So Pineda joins Eric Londano in the book. A couple that the referee allowed to slide on by early, but that leash is being tightened. And the center official today is Salvador Flores. 2-0, 2 early goals authored by Jason Shukaluk on the break. One in the 3rd minute and one in the 13th, and that is where we sit. But Red Bull have the imperative. Modello. Devin Cadigan on the twist. Eric Londano gets it away ahead of the oncoming presser. Good one-touch stuff with the ball. Quick and decisive and right on cue. It's Benny Rodriguez who steps on it. And it's out over the touchline. Attaching himself again is Christian Gallagher, who wins an advantage for Jangar. Gallagher from the deeper regions in zone 14. Baitinger. Enough of an angle for a cross, but needled away again by Cups. Stroke of halftime on the near-handed horizon. Condensed area on this near touchline, but able to solve the riddle. Or fire to Pareba. Left enough of a side of the ball for Baitinger to come and recover it. It's nearly given away again. Just a little bit sloppy for Red Bull 2, almost as if they've played with a degree of entitlement, if you will, in the first phase of build-up, that things will just work out. Slip through for Shukaluk, who is on a hat trick. He knew it too. Went early with the strike. Didn't get his inseam applied in the way that he would have liked. Rebel 2 have really struggled to get the game stretched. Fire 2 have been able to stay on balance and stay in shape in their defensive foxholes. Waiting on the board to go up for full allotment of stoppage time. Baitinger fancying himself in the 1v1.
The referee has indicated there will be a minimum of
4 minutes of stoppage time is the word.
4 minutes.
It's been a theme all throughout these hotter summer months. Games start to lose a little bit of tension as the heat wears on all the players that are playing in the contest. Rebel 2 are going to have to dig deep to get something here. It would help if they got a spark now. Jangar the cutback. One of the league's leaders in the assist department. Can't make anything of what was shaping out to be a real chance. Belted in behind, and a foul will be called on Londano, who is already on a booking. Another clashing, clattering tackle. Does appear that Fire 2 player is just going to escape with a stern word. Speeding away is Cadigan. Read the space quite well there. Smart ball in for an infield Dennis Nelich. Gathered by Jankar. A yellow card.
A yellow card caution has been issued to Chicago Fire 2 number 37, Robert Jardine.
Robert Turdine is the one that goes in the book. Jangar. Emar Sanchez. Mondano. Cadigan. Striping wide for Baitinger. Swashbuckling in across. It's beaten back for now. Orso can't get clear. Baitinger. It just comes undone at the end, but kept on by Gallagher. Great fight. Kone! Creamed wide. Was it assisted offline by Nemo? It was. Big save. Not sure if it would have actually landed on the wrong side of the post for the goalkeeper, but better safe than sorry. And it's a last-ditch corner kick to get something on the board ahead of halftime. Darted in. It's a good ball. It was tracking towards goal. Nemo applies a fist and is feeling the after effects. May have been fouled anyway. That could carry us to the expiration of this first half. They will give a foul. And we move on into the break. Chicago Fire 2 got everything they could have hoped for from that first half, all of it coming in the first quarter hour, and that is why we sit at 2-0 at the break. Coming up in our halftime programming, highlights and our weekend schedule, but after the break, a Pride Month story on the importance of soccer and community. All that when we come back.
They say the world's game is played everywhere. This is how we play it here. Every weekend across North America. From Vancouver's mountain rain to the shores of Florida. From the City of Angels to the Heartland. The world's brightest stars light up our fields.
Let's go.
And our fans bring the world to life. In every language, in every city. One game, one roar. Sold out nights under lights. New soccer citadels rising from coast to coast. Every chant, every goal, another brick in a growing relief. Now, the world's biggest stage comes to our home. And when they arrive, they'll find the game's heartbeat has been here all along.
Here at the break, where it is Chicago Fire 2 that are out in front of Red Bull New York 2-0. Back in June, it was Pride Month, and we take you to Cincinnati and superfan Mark Brockman on how he and his soccer community found each other.
I'm Mark Brockman. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I'm an FC Cincinnati 2 supporter. I spend a lot of time paying attention to FC Cincinnati. The 2 team is ultimately just another outlet to get away and think about soccer for 90 minutes instead of whatever else is going on. I really enjoy the opportunity to come to the games, and the 2 team is so interesting because you can see young players and know, well, Andre Torilla debuted for this team last year at 16. Well, now he's starting for the first team, and he's one of the best ball progressors in the league. And you could have seen that last year at Scudamore. And I think that's a really cool experience, and I think there's something to be said for FCC fans who have never been to a 2 game. They don't know the highs and lows of MLS Next Pro, and there's nothing really like it to be around families and people, and you can hear everything on the field. And sometimes somebody's just going to rip a long shot and it's going to go in and the crowd's going to go wild and you'll never see a replay. And you were there. You know, struggling with mental health and depression, it's really like a numbness and an apathy that gets to you. And for me, at least, it's what kind of ate away. I just didn't feel anything about anything. And FCC really provided me an outlet to feel again. And it was highs and lows and excitement and anger. And one of the first games I went to, we had a player allegedly bite somebody, and GB did not bite anybody. But, you know, it's controversy and it's emotion and it's getting back to feeling things, not just being numb to the world. I think Pride Month is about community, and it's really important for me growing up. I didn't necessarily always see representation out in front of me. So growing up, I knew I was different, but I didn't know if it was okay. And I think Pride Month gives you a really good opportunity to get out there and be loud and proud. And it gives the younger generation an opportunity to see people living their lives as gay people or queer people. I think if there was something I was going to tell a kid or myself when I was in the closet younger, it's probably the most important thing in your life is going to be loving yourself. And if you love you, you're going to find people who will love you too. I mean, people told me it gets better and be yourself as a kid, and it always kind of sounds dumb and banal and cliche, but there really is something to be your authentic self, and you're going to do what you're passionate about and engage in your hobbies and things you're passionate about, and you will find a community that you enjoy and that loves you for who you are. Ultimately, being yourself is going to be more rewarding than being anybody else wants you to be. And just don't be afraid, because ultimately none of it matters.
My name is Nathaniel James. You can call me Natty James. I'm a striker / winger from Trinidad and Tobago. I grew up in a place called La Hokata Rima. I grew up in the east side of the island. I started in a club nearby named FC Santa Rosa, and that's where I started playing football. My father, he saw that I had like my shoes were always dirty after school and stuff, and when I came home one day, I was like, I want to start to play football, and he was like, you want to start to play football? So my father was actually the one who started like carrying me out on the field, started passing, kicking, running, teaching me running techniques, everything. Then he got me into football because he used to play as well. After that, I just started playing, and I've been playing ever since. I was in Jablote, and I was playing youth football there. So at that time, I got selected for the under-15 national team. At the time, I was just so happy just to play and just to be around this environment, and I was just so excited for my future and what I could do, and yeah, it's been going good so far. I remember actually getting called to train when I was 15 as well. So I was training with the national team since I was like 15, and then I made my professional debut when I was 18, and then I made my competitive debut when I was 19. It was against Jamaica, in Jamaica. You know, I came on, played like 15 minutes. I was so nervous. It was good though, it was good. I came on, had some nice touches, played really well, played as a striker. And yeah, I enjoyed it. And my first competitive debut, I actually scored in it. You know, so I came on for like 5 minutes, the last 5 minutes of the game, and scored the winning goal, and it was in a CONCACAF Nations League game. Yeah, it was one of the best feelings I've had in my life. When I was younger, I used to take a lot from different players. I think Messi and then Neymar were the two players that I would always look up to, like just watching football, because I was supported Barcelona when I was younger. And when I was like 15, like I started playing as like a cam, like a number 10, so I started watching like Dybala. And I wanted to be just like Dybala. I wanted to play like him, same left foot, same. I just wanted to move and play like him. So I think Dybala, you know, I already did my research, see what it was all about, North Texas or whatever. And then I had a meeting with Coach Carl. John, he gave me a call. It was like everything I ever wanted. He just told me about everything. He was like talking about the new stadium, Mansfield, showing me how good it's gonna be, the environment, and I just fell in love immediately. And I knew that I wanted to be here. I wanted to like put my best foot forward for this opportunity, and I've been trying my best. I've been giving my best every day, so I just want to continue that. From the first day I came here, I was like, I just want to play well, play good. I want to score, I want to assist, I want to help the team in any way possible, you know. So as of right now, my goal is just to help the team make playoffs and see how good we can do this season, see how far we can go, and I think we have a really good shot.
My name is Edouard Nice. I'm from Belgium. I'm 21 years old, playing offensive midfielder for North Texas SC. Started playing for my hometown, Royal Sport. There's not a lot of people in my hometown. It's not really like a sport town or anything like that. It's just like a village, like a small village club. I played there for like 5 years. Yeah, that's where I started playing soccer. Coming from semi-pro back home, never won any trophy, never did anything, and then going to Northeast and just, you know, talking with the coach before joining them. He was talking about trophy, winning a national championship, and that's what I wanted. That's why I joined them. And the first year we lost in the semi-final, and we came up close, losing 0 games, losing 1 game, and it was the game in the semi-final. And then the year we came back, we won it also. First big trophy for the college as well, first national championship, and it meant a lot to me. Yeah.
FC Dallas selects number 306 Edouard Nice from University of Illinois.
No, it was crazy. I mean, I was sitting with my whole family on the couch in my house, and even my best friend from back home, and I just wanted to hear my name, you know. Thought that was the moment for me, and it happened. So I was really happy. And one of my goals coming to America as well was getting drafted, as well as going Division 1. And just that happening was like surreal. I couldn't believe it in a sense, because, you know, going from hometown club, village, playing 6 years there, then playing semi-professional, you don't expect yourself 3 years later to get called in the MLS Super Draft and signing professional for FC Dallas. For this season, I would say, yeah, I want to be obviously the MVP of the league. That would be a good goal of mine. You know, I mean, everything possible, you know, like winning the Golden Boot, everything. Like, but at the end of the day, I just want to win a trophy with North Texas. I know they won one in 2024, and I want to win one again. You know, I want to give my teammates the best like effort from me on the field, and just like they can look up to me and be like, yeah, this guy is like trying his hardest, and we want to work for him at the same time and just help the team winning trophies.
Players on the rise, not the only big thing of note going on with North Texas, as they had their ribbon cutting ceremony and first official practice at the new Texas Health Mansfield Stadium. With a capacity of over 7,000, Mansfield Stadium sits on a 250-acre stable entertainment district and was the FIFA World Cup base of operations for Czechia last month. The stadium opens for soccer this weekend. All eyes on what is being done with North Texas SC, one of the foremost thinking clubs in MLS Next Pro, with a big occasion for the division. Everybody excited to welcome in this venue and all that it might offer for MLS Next Pro in the near future. here at the half. Chicago Fire 2 with 2 goals in their back pocket, preparing for the second frame, trying to see out Red Bull New York 2. As for the whole duration of that first half and the highlights that occurred throughout it, this is what we're working with in terms of the moments of intrigue in that first 45 minutes of play. The halftime highlights: Chicago Fire 2-2, Red Bull New York 0. And it would be an early onslaught from Fire 2 as David Parebo would drive in off a giveaway at the back. Jason Shukaluk would stick a leg out and steer it home from point blank. Shukaluk would not be done as he would leave his defender in the dust, swerve infield, and slap one beyond the reach of the goalkeeper. Red Bull New York 2 would have a couple chances throughout the half, but nothing that really made Jason Nemo Jr. work all too hard. And that is where we are resting, heading into the second frame of play. That is all for you in the near-handed horizon. Second half kickoff coming up here from SeatGeek Stadium. 2-0, Chicago Fire 2 out in front of Red Bull New York.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
Second half just about ready to strike up here in Illinois at SeatGeek Stadium, where the home side, Chicago Fire 2, have the early edge over Red Bull New York 2. Changes to be made by both teams, as it looks like we are off to an early start. Chicago Fire 2 get in behind, and Red Bull New York find themselves hemorrhaging another goal. What has happened here? It was so lackadaisical on a bending run to the top of the box, and a stiffly stricken shot from the edge of the area. And just like that, Red Bull New York, it goes from bad to worse.
Chicago Fire 2 goals scored by number 28.
It's going to be Dean Bolts, who's accredited the goal, who just came on to include himself in this game after a full sail change by Mike Makovich.
Entering match number 28, Dean Bolts, leading match number 29, Tiv Rimba. Also entering the match number 41, Tian Diawara, leading match number 20.
And Red Bull New York, despite having found a foothold, well, they're still looking for something into the box and cued out. Benny Rodriguez unable to wriggle away. Cups. There is so much bounce in the step right now of Fire 2, who have started this second half exactly how they started the first half. Scored even quicker this time around inside the first 60 seconds. It was 3 minutes for Shukaluk to find the breakthrough in the first frame. It is a quicker renditioning from Dean Bolts in this period. Once more with you, I'm Peyton Gallagher. Chicago Fire 2 and Red Bull New York 2. Match day 19 in MLS Next Pro. Fire 2 unbeaten in their last 4 and looking for some vengeance against the team that knocked them out of the postseason a year ago. They are playing with that kind of fervor. That is unmistakable. Flushed ahead. Modelo, Benny Rodriguez. The end line, it's swerved out. Pineda with the cover. Outswinger from Benny Rodriguez. Knocked down. Nelic will catch it up. Christian Gallagher. Tidian Diawara having come into the game for Chicago Fire 2, applying some pressure there. Up and over by Nemo. What do Red Bull have for a response here? Talking to Dominic Wohlert in the preparation for this game, he was pretty optimistic about the week of training that his team had and felt like they were energized for the opportunity to wash the bad taste of a bad second half in Cincinnati out of their mouths. But it was Chicago Fire 2 that threw the gauntlet down straight away, and Red Bull 2, despite having not played a poor performance so far in this game, are really going to have to work hard to get anything from this now. If you're just now joining us from whatever you were doing at halftime, Dean Bolts is the reason why the scoreboard now reads 3-0 instead of 2. Scored almost effectively straight from the kickoff. And on a day where Fire 2 have just had everything go their way, good gets better. Away by Nemo. There has been a dropping of the energy a little bit by Red Bull since the goal from Fire 2. Just so demoralizing. You're all revved up and ready to go out of halftime. Feel like you've got what it takes to come back in the game, and the task at hand changes entirely almost straight away. Just in clarifying those substitutions, it's Milan Napoe coming on for Fire 2. as well as the aforementioned Tinian Diawara. Dean Bolts, who scored the goal, made his impact felt without having his name called. Outgoing Dylan Borsell, as well as Jason Shukaluk, and in course with that, also David Pareba. So that very sharp trident of attacking talent given the hook with their team already profiting from their contributions. No hat trick today for Jason Shukaluk. Dennis Nelich, he knows a thing or two about scoring a hat trick. Baitinger up a cul-de-sac. Rodriguez knocked down, back for Rodriguez, and just dug out from underneath his feet. And this is real danger. Diawara racing. Fights off the first tackle and traced back in full. At halftime, there was a change in the defense for Dominic Woolert. Eric Londano on that caution coming out of the game. Joshua Munson, the one who made that tackle, is the one who replaced him. This is Sekou Kone. Kone's shot is blocked by Christopher Cupps, who's putting in another dazzling performance, the heart of central defense. And it should be a corner kick for Red Bull 2. Salvador Flores points to the flag. And it comes, skying, knuckle applied by Nemo. And they'll do it again, this time from an opposite direction of travel. Benny Rodriguez collecting. Swishing to the back stick. Nodded offline, and we're just running suicides at this point from touchline to touchline. 3 successive corners. It's going to come all the way across the face of goal. Nemo's clamoring for a call. Not sure if it ever was going to come. Maybe fortunate that there is no Olympico on there. There will be another hydration break in this period of play, we're being told. Not a ton of attacking options for Dominic Woolert to throw at this problem. On the bench, he's already made 2 changes. Still should be another 2 substitution windows. One of those happening in the first half. Aymar Modelo coming on out of the first half hydration break. That's one of the windows, but the most recent substitute of Munson. That happened out of halftime. And that's a clever little ball in behind for Diawara, aimed in by Omar Gonzalez, but what a tackle that is from Munson, who now twice has put on a clinic in 1v1 defending. Jengar powering a pass forward. Down in the middle, Trip Fleming losing out, but Cupps there to keep it with Chicago Fire 2. Diawara throws in a tackle, was late, and knew he had a yellow card coming his way before he was even on his feet. In terms of the attacking outlets, though, really only Malik Odiinka of that final third type of operator that could be called upon. There's Paul Sokolov as well on the bench, but more of a centrally minded midfielder. Diawara reconnecting with Trip Fleming. Again, it's Munson putting himself up amongst it. Poked forward by Benny Rodriguez, who never had the string on the yo-yo. This portion of the match is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. Neek knocking it around Chicago Fire 2. So important for them to maintain this lead, to just have these little 2 and 3 minute pockets where they shift through the gears and start to climb the ladder towards the attacking half. Opening up is Trip Fleming. Well-shaped run in behind. The choreography there was pretty good from Chicago Fire 2 to start to move the Red Bull block around. Got Dean Bolts in behind. Pass was over a hit, though. Baitinger puts the ball in the custody of Cadigan. I'm not quite sure who he was looking for there. Fire 2 can still make 2 more changes. They technically have all 3 substitution windows available to them, but they won't need them, having made the triple change at halftime. Back to Shevsik. Been a quiet half, all things considered, aside from the loud bang at the start of it. This more direct dispatch from Red Bull New York 2, and they can't find a way through. Verdian deferring wide. Omar Gonzalez was doing the dance with Jankar before putting the ball back for Nemo. That will be a throw-in from the far touchline. Red Bull New York are almost entirely a stranger to getting shut out. This does not happen to them. Only failed to score a goal on 1 occasion in the last 62 matches. Had gone 58 straight before failing to score against Chattanooga 4 games ago now. Modelo not on the same script as Jangar. Does feel like some of the intensity has all but evaporated out of the game. Might have something to do with the elements. Up next for Red Bull 2. They can look forward to an away date with CT United before coming home to face the primary challenger to the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, Crown Legacy. That's on July 24th. And then we'll see New England Revolution 2. Whole bunch of playoff caliber teams lining the road for the Red Bulls. Prior to their next match will be against Crown Legacy on the road, July 18th. Fire 2 well on their way to making it 5 in a row unbeaten. Of course, this will feel much better than the shootout losses they've had in the last 2 games. Assuming that there is nothing completely mind-boggling to take shape over the next half hour. This looks like Dominic Wallert is summoning one of those warming players back to the technical area. Amar Sanchez plowing one towards the end line. That's just going to have too much heat on it for Christian Gallagher to catch up. crunching tackle, but this time it's within the bounds of what's legal. Modelo. They are trying to go a little bit more direct in the play, Red Bull 2, in their efforts to get in behind this middle sitting block of Chicago Fire 2. No dividend to be heard of yet. Looks like Josue Fromer is fitting on the shin guards as we speak for Chicago.
Two substitutions for Red Bull New York 2. Entering match number 41, Shunya Sakai. Clearing the match
Turned wide.
71, Aymar Sanchez. Also entering the match number
Actually, a correction there. On the substitutions, it's going to be Shunya Sakai coming in for Red Bull 2. And it's going to be, I believe, Paul Sokolov coming in for Red Bull as well, as they have altered the deck as much as they can, just about. Modelo riding the tackle. Modelo digs it out and musters towards the top of the box. Now Jengar. Is there still some tension left in this? Can Red Bull at least create the faintest waft of dramatic notion in the late going? Nelic feeding it forward. Baitinger will win the fight for it. Just nowhere to go. Red Bull on the repress. Still can't get it back. Put out a play by Munson. Throw in for the New Yorkers. Should be a corner here. It will be. Ball in swinger, aimed at the top corner, and it towers just narrowly too tall. Goal kick. This portion of the match is brought to you by Carvana. Nemo. Now nudged wide for Omar Gonzalez. Pineda had to be aware there. Able to keep it for Fire 2, who have now fought through a handful of attempts by Red Bull to heist the ball away. Pineda, chased by Jengar. Just grabbed his nameplate and tugged. And it looks like a caution is being dispensed. Was it for dissent? I believe that's Sokolov who goes in the book now. Obviously not involved in the play in any meaningful extent there, at least at the point of origin for the foul that stopped proceedings. There were a couple pieces of contact that built up to that maybe Sokolov found himself embroiled in. Probably is there, just leaving a stud on a player as they were passing by. Villanueva. 2/3 of the way through the game. 67th minute. And it is, again, in confirmation, Paul Sokolov, who goes in the book. Muscled down the line by Neek. There's a man waiting on the right side. If they can get it there, they cannot. Diawara is going to be offside regardless of what he does, and that is the ruling. Bainger hefting one in over the top. Regathered by Jangar. Modelo pivots away from the tackle. Devin Cadigan. Munson. Bainger. And Dennis Nelich completing a winding weave of passes as they enter the final third. Red Bull New York. Rodriguez filtered through. Looking to sift it back is Christian Gallagher. On a spin, it's Bainger, it's blocked. Still there for Red Bull New York. Benny Rodriguez and washing wide for Cadigan. Bainger! And the shot breezes harmlessly by goal. Good piece of play for Red Bull. And it's not over yet as it looks like a corner's on the way off the block. Not sure if that hit the defender or if it hit a friendly backside. But nonetheless, the referee has made his choice. It's a corner kick coming. I believe it was Sokolov who turned his back to the ball. Benny Rodriguez over everybody. Goal kick. This portion of the match is brought to you by Allstate. Match that was in good hands right from the outset for Fire 2, who gathered the edge within the first 3 minutes and made sure to compound it in the first quarter hour. Then went forward and scored again inside the first 60 seconds of the second half. And in terms of periodizing when you score your goals, don't know if a coach could draw that up much better. Get a go-ahead, get it quick, get the confirming goal to put you out of sight, and get the potential backbreaker almost instantly to stub off any momentum out of halftime. If a manager could write a script for how they would want a game to go, that might be it. Red Bull 2, despite their best efforts, just have not been able to find that spark of inspiration. Summoned down on the far touchline and wisely dispensed down to the Red Bull half of the field. Good way to avoid getting pressed is just don't allow the ball to be in your half of the field. And even better way is to play it off an opposition player and get a throw in about 30 yards higher from where you actually passed the ball to start with. That looks like that's going to be the case. Cups. Jason Shukaluk, likely the man of the match in terms of his performance when you score two. Kind of undeniable, but Christopher Cups has been as good as anybody on the field today. Into the middle, Dean Bolts! He scored from outside the box to start the half. He saw the twinkle in his eye and was always going to call his own name. likely to be approaching hydration break at the next stoppage of the contest. Munson. Loose pass, free ball in the middle. Should be chased down by Modelo. Cadigan. Jangar operating almost exclusively in the middle of the park now. Seized upon by Fire 2. Wiped away by Batinger. High header by Omar Gonzalez, who lands with a bang. And they will call a foul with Gonzalez undercut. That should speed us along into the hydration break. Maybe they might wait to take it at the 75th minute. Cuffs. Encouraged forward by his manager as he thrusts the ball down the touchline, and will be a throw-in for Red Bull New York. A little bit switched off defending the throw-in. Fire 2. Christian Gallagher brings out the box of skills and plows a crossing effort across the goal mouth. May have been offside regardless. No, just a goal kick. Nemo would love to post another clean sheet and goal. It's really, at this point, the main thing Chicago Fire 2 are after. Just ensuring this performance stays in a place where they can feel as good about it as they do right now. Grappling there, Diawara missing out. Cadigan. Flying forward is Batinger. Now Nelic. Sokolov couldn't tame it. And now we should have the hydration break.
The referee has indicated there will be a hydration break. We'll resume shortly.
So it sits at 3-0. Fire 2 have done enough. They have managed the game from the point that they took that commanding lead at the start of the frame, and they have been under little threat from that point on by Red Bull 2. Just have not been able to find what is required in the final action. As for what is to come in the upcoming schedule looking down the road across the league, this is what the division has to offer as we move towards those final couple match weeks. The middle of July signals that turning point toward the real downhill, and a good one to come for you in the form of this Chicago Fire 2 team on Saturday, testing themselves up against Crown Legacy, the reigning Western Conference champions, Colorado Rapids 2, taking aim against the team that likely is positioning themselves to win that regular season distinction this season, Houston Dynamo Dos. That will round up the rear guard action of the upcoming slate on Saturday, July 18th. Chattanooga FC and Orlando City B, also a good one. New York will make their final change coming out of the watering hole here. Marco Morigi, a Venezuelan 19-year-old midfielder, coming on, replacing Benny Rodriguez, who's put in a shift today, taking a couple bumps and lumps. Both sides just somewhat milling back out onto the field. Not a high degree of urgency. The player can find a way to tap into that little extra bit of energy reserve in the slackness of a game that has been an exhaustive endeavor. Not only can they maybe make a difference in the contest, but beyond that, gotta imagine that makes a special kind of impression with a manager. See if that is on offer from any of the 20 outfield players that are now reconvening. We got 12 minutes left of regular time, and whatever extra time for stoppages waits beyond that. Motello, always worth the disclaimer. This is MLS Next Pro, and crazy things have been known to happen. All it takes is one, and the imagination can start to work in overdrive. Around the corner it goes. The back post. Had that ball stayed on, it was Dennis Jangar who was operating as the stalking horse at the back stick. Unmarked in that spare man run. Don't think Damian Neek had any idea that he was creeping in. Oh, it's a bad giveaway nearly. Sokolov can't make it stick. Hit hard down the line, and once more it's Munson who makes the ball his own. Cadigan from the deeper reaches. Player that, in the estimation of his manager, has just gotten better and better and better. Not a guy that has that immense, abundant talent that he can just rely on. As, speaking of which, Jangar's putting on a show. It's claimed with conviction by Nemo, but just finishing out on Cadigan. A player whose superpower might just be his attitude and mentality. Muller was expressive in waxing poetic about the midfielder that has really cemented a role in the base of this team. And it's a huge credit to the coaching staff to help aid in his development, but also a huge credit to a young man who understands what it takes, at least in the evident sense. Driving forward at speed. Turdian unopposed before working it wide, sifted in, away by Munson. Back to Turdine. Pineda. Villanueva. Neek making a roundabout run. Can't even get a glove on the ball. All of a sudden, Red Bull New York can see exactly what they've given to the game. Heavy legs now. It's like Harrison Bernhardt is getting the final checklist of preparations to potentially come on and see this out for Chicago. Again, it's worth restating. Nobody keeps Red Bull off the score sheet. It just doesn't happen. Only one occurrence in the last 62 games in which they have failed to find a goal. Chicago Fire 2. That would be a bit of a badge that they could put on their sash as Munson shields it away back to Shefsik. Just add an extra layer of icing to what's already been a delicious performance against the team that dispatched them from the postseason a year ago. Mike Makovich set to be a very happy man at full time. Riding through the tackle is Dennis Nelich. Coming ahead at pace. Batinger, Christian Gallagher. Not been the day for the attackers of Red Bull 2. It's not like Fire have been all over them. It really has just been 3 really well-taken chances. Maybe they'll add a 4th. Pacing ahead, Diawara left the ball behind him. Still fighting. Into the box! And breaking high of the upper 90. A late arriving run caught Red Bull off guard. Fortunately, the finish was not poised enough to make them pay. Pineda, you saw him see the space and call for the ball where he wanted it to be, not to where he was. And the substitution is made now. Outgoing. Damian Villanueva incoming. The aforementioned Bernhardt. That should be the final alteration for these two teams. Sakai. Nobody there on the receiving end. Nemo. That was maybe the wrong gamble to take. Morigi chases it out for a corner. Spotted quickly. Sokolov. Backing up is Nemo, who swats it off the line. Still might be there, off a chest. Sakai can't make it stick. There was a push. The referee would have had to have given a penalty if he called foul. Jangar showing there's still some juice in those legs, chasing it back down. Bainger. Red Bull undeterred. They want to get at least a goal. Nelic. A thumping challenge and play on is the estimation of the referee. It looked like he was about to blow. Motello, including Jankar in the wide space. Cadigan. Jankar out wide. And knotted ever so shallowly wide of the goal by Christian Gallagher as player is down for Chicago Fire 2. Looks like there actually will be one more change in this. And it will be made now.
Substitution for Chicago Fire 2. League match number 34.
James Fields into the defensive area of midfield.
Number 53. James Fields.
And that will be the end of the line for Omar Gonzalez, who put in a strong shift, partnering Christopher Cups. Tick, tick, tick. Everything's semantic at this point. Every minute counts, though, in terms of these programs' ability to evaluate players, how they respond in adverse conditions, and it's a common saying, but for a good reason, all you do control in life is how you respond. Modello still coming. Modello, another tackle. It's Christopher Cups, masterclass defending. He, among many reasons, but none bigger, has contributed to why there is a 0 on the score sheet for Red Bull. And that's going to be at least a conversation. And yes, a yellow card for Dennis Jangar. Abacus being slid about as stoppage time is tabulated. Heaved ahead by Trip Fleming. Munson. Baitinger. Nelic. This is Sean Baitinger. Back-to-back games with goals for him. Looks like that streak's going to come to a close unless something happens here. Jangar slithering away and lifting one into the channel for Modelo. Every time they've gotten into the box, that's when Chicago have firmed up the most. May take this short. Sokolov without swing. Bending away from Nemo, who again is going to have to take it off the top shelf and push it over goal. Most of Red Bull's best chances have come from almost certainly going for the Olympico. Not a lot of times you see an outbreaking corner like that end up that close to goal. Now it's Dennis Nelic's turn. Looking for the better angle. A knock-on header away at the first advance. Ball was dead anyhow. Cups wins another header. Down into the space he typically inhabits. Gallagher. Baitinger. Amar Motello. Canagan. Enough time to pick up his head and survey the landscape. Christian Gallagher. Just not happening today. Into stoppage time. Being told it should be about 3 minutes. Intercepted. Is there a fire red cherry to be placed on top? In behind, Diawara. Got the finish all wrong. Shevsik had left that near post a little bit vacant. Maybe not the worst idea to try and go with the left foot and sneak it in, but all but miss hit. And Aymar Modelo, for some indiscretion in the process, will be given a yellow card. Sakai stepped wide from Modelo. We've seen that pattern time and time again. Red Bull trying to go in to out to back in. Chicago have been all over it. Lands with a bounce out by the far touchline and maybe one last push in it to save face for Red Bull. Launching forward, Chicago Fire 2 off the intercepts. They've given it back. A tug of the shirt. Jankar has made sure to maintain it. Spooned in over the top. It was a clever piece of movement by Cadigan and Sokolov, but the execution was off. In a way, kind of encapsulation of the game on the offensive end for Red Bull. Just a couple of missteps defensively, punished on every occasion by a ruthless Fire 2 team that were out to get something a little extra from this. And that is the tale of the tie. And it is Chicago Fire 2 that leave Red Bull New York 2 in the rearview mirror. A name-taking performance on home soil from the Chicago side. And they put Red Bull to the sword in a way that is fully unfamiliar. Red Bull kept without a goal. This man was not the Adidas man of the match. You guessed it, Jason Shukaluk. Back down in MLS Next Pro, the Golden Boot winner from a year ago. He scored twice against Red Bull 2. That playoff tie that fatefully saw Chicago Fire 2 bounced a year ago. He would make sure his endeavors were worth the while today. Excellently taken goal on the second attempt. The first one set the tone. There was no looking back from there. And that is that. Here from SeatGeek Stadium, the final accounting of things sees, of course, Chicago Fire 2 take this one. For our entire fantastic MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, folks, I've been Peyton Geller, and again, the final score, 2-0 here on the day. You can watch MLS Next Pro all season long on the OneFootball app and MLSNextPro.com. But for now, we bid you adieu. Happy trails from Chicago. The final score, 3-0. Fire 2 take this over Red Bull New York.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.